Got Dad's 2005 Rumblebee parts finally in the booth. It's been a long time coming. I'm getting a little bit excited because I'm looking forward to at least putting the truck together so it's a whole truck together, all one color, running, driving. So that's going to be fun. Pretty much ready to go. The tailgate and the box, but because the box is red and we're painting the truck solar yellow, the original Rumblebee Dodge color. Probably going to prime the box and tailgate. You know, it's one thing if you got a bit of yellow showing and you're doing yellow over yellow, but in this case, this ain't going to hurt on this truck because it's a solid color. We're going to use that Napa full Thane Nason stuff. That part, for whatever reason, he had replaced it. His was all banged up, so it was black, which, it sits behind a plastic liner, so it didn't matter, but we grayed all that out so that the yellow will cover it. This, I'm just basically going to clean it and shoot it the way it sits. It'll be totally fine. But yeah, I don't know what the yellow will do over this red, so we'll just hide that. And here we got to scuff that because I had to reprime that a little bit. It's a little thin in one spot, so I threw 2-3 little coats on, and we'll just kind of gently block that away. The back side, I'll probably prime the whole tailgate realistically. A little epoxy primer, We'll thin it down into a sealer and just to gray the whole thing. Make the paint stick really well. And that doesn't mean I won't do the grill. I might do the grill because the grill on these are known to chip and whatnot, but I think it'll be fine. That full Thane Nason paint, it sticks. It's good. What else do we got? We located all the parts we need to put all the ground effects back on. And they've never been on the truck as long as my dad's owned it, for like 10, 15 years, or at least 15 years now, I guess. They're a little beat up, but we're just going to put the truck together and do those later because we got to wait 3-4 weeks after the paint, according to the sticker guy, to do the Rumblebee stripes up around the box and whatnot. But we're also looking into a hard tonneau cover for the box. So when we do the box, the stripe comes up the side. We'll run it right across over the tonneau cover and down the other side, and it's going to run over the rear ground effects. So that'll be cool. Update number 2, 68 Firebird. Assumed there was a crack in the metal here, as I've seen that before. Nope, it was just someone put a lot of fill and reblocked it. No idea why. There's a little bit of funniness showing on the paint in the middle of that and down there. For some reason, both sides of this car in the same spot looked like it had been hit. And the filler may have been letting go. Well, you don't want to take a chance, so we ground that all out. We're fixing those. So again, here's a car that came in as, I just want to repaint, but the reality is you can't just repaint that because, that flutter would have been there. Had it not been white, you would have seen it. We took all this out, which I showed you before. The paint here was cracking because they used a hard enamel or whatever it was, and they kind of went over the seam sealer with a little bit of filler and stuff, and it was just a mess, and it was starting to crack apart. So we stripped all that off. This is all sounding hard as a rock. It wouldn't come off easy. Cleaned up in here too. We'll seam seal both sides. We reshaped those corners up there because they were a little off from before, so I think we're happy now. There's a little bit of paint that was really stuck on well up in the middle. The rest was all full of those little pinholes from solvent pop. So I basically stripped it off so it doesn't 3D print through our new paint job. So that, even the primer that's there, most of that, when it'll sand right off. Anything on this car, because we don't know what the paints and primers used were, and because we're not taking this one down to metal, I'm pretty much going to have to start somewhere here and go up over the whole roof, down the front pillars. We're going to encapsulate all that in with an epoxy primer. CRE 321 is what I'm going to use. And the reason I'm going to use that is because you can block that super smooth, clean it, paint over it. Trunk lid, same deal. Package tray panel, whatever you want to call that, it's fine. That we can shoot right over that. Quarters were really nice. Down at the lower here on the opposite side, there's a little repair to do. There was a ding there, and here there was a something had failed. It looked like there was like a touch up. So I don't know if something jabbed into the car. So we ground that out and filled it. Worst spot of the car was, for some reason, a lot of filler here. This was a little bit thick, but this down here was really thick, and I'm not really sure why it was. And you could actually see it kind of come out. So I just basically ground it down to bare metal, started over. We'll get it a little smoother. Then I'll use the white colored filler, and then we'll run that right over the door and block it all smooth. Again, we're going to end up priming like most of this car. So, you know, sometimes the repaint just doesn't work out right. If a vehicle needs more, you got to do more. Okay, so update number 3, the 63 Coupe DeVille. Oh, this poor guy. So the column was sent out to be repaired because I'd like to be able to move the car out of my hoist bay and put it back there. Because that car within a week will be over there. This car can be there. And our Corvette that we got to replace the frame in will be sitting here so we can use the hoist to lift the body off the frame. Pour 15, pretty much the whole floor. Now I still got to weld in this patch panel. Yeah, so Cadillacs, right? You don't get perfect stuff like you do the Camaros and Mustangs and Chevelles. This is what you get. And they're so-so. That whole pan will not fit in this car. Like, things are just off enough to make it tricky. But the reality is it's close enough you can cut it up and do what you need. That's all we need. And that spot up here should have something like that. Now, I do have it out of the old floor pan, so I might make a little wooden jig and knock that down to make the shape and put the plug in it to make it real. The problem is I don't have one for that side. I might have to go dig around in my shop to see if I got one. Now, over there, someone had welded a flat plate in years ago, and it kind of sucks. But when you look under the car, having the beads in it would look more like this side, right? Which is what we kind of want. So we're going to cut that front piece and just take 2 sections of bead in that front. And again, recreate one of those in that. And the cool thing with that is once the floor is done and we're close, hopefully we have the column within a week. We can basically strip this thing down to bare metal and start doing the metal fab. Not a whole lot to do. All around the back wheels is mint. The sail panels are kind of messed up. And when I look from behind, you can see in between, there's 3 layers, but there's an opening. And there's no rust beyond this point up. So we're going to come up a little bit high. And I'm probably going to go right back to here. I mean, we'll blast all that out first to see what's there. But this gets us above the lead work, which is great. Now, if you look up here, yeah, that's over the lead, right? That's what happens. So we're gonna have to cook the lead out of there with a torch. You know, you make a little thing down a little further and tip it up, aluminum foil and some foil tape. It'll all run in there, and you don't want to be sanding and putting dust through your shop, especially with lead. So file it, wire brush it out, heat it. You catch the drift, right? A lot of videos on how to deal with that. Wear really good masks. You can see here where they kind of finish out the body work at the factory and they do nothing here. But there's a bunch of trim there and everywhere. So this is going to be cool. We're almost done. Rear dash is clean. It's got a nice coat of paint on it. It's all hidden anyway, but you know, there's areas that you just got to do. It's the way it works. That was all done from there. The whole underside of the car is painted, minus those 2 front floor pans that we're replacing. So it's the black color is like a semi-gloss, so it'll blend right in underneath when we go to touch those up. And I mean, this is a car that's never going to see weather. It's literally going to be driven on sunny days only. So we're happy. Everything under there is ready to go. Pretty cool. This will be the worst down here. We got to redo that. The rest of the car is pretty nice. Same on this side as the other side. And last but not least, well, let's look at some shiny chrome. And I was just watching before I come on, I watched a UTG video, Uncle Tony's Garage, and he was talking about one of our fellow car guys out in the world, Steve Magnante. I can't pronounce his last name for the life of me. I wish I could. I'm sure most of you know who he is. You've seen him. And just put his name in the YouTube bar. His channel will come up. You'll know him right away, whether you watch him or not. I guess he's not doing very well, and something about being in the hospital. Uncle Tony has a little bit more info on that, so go check that out if you want to know more. That being said, Uncle Tony kind of did a shout out, or a call out, I should say, to the fans and people out there to go to his channel, like, subscribe if you haven't already. Watch a few of his videos, throw some comments. I know this week they've been putting a bit of kind of like reruns on, but that's okay. Go on and put your phone or laptop, whatever you're watching, hit your autoplay and leave it on his channel and just let them play. Basically, we don't need to do GoFundMe with this guy. He's got a YouTube channel. Just go watch a bunch of his videos, or let him run and don't watch him. But, as long as YouTube keeps showing views and whatnot, maybe he keeps getting paid, and once he's better and out of the woods, he can bring us some of that really cool content like he does. I know I'm a bit of a nerd, so he goes to these junkyards and car hoards in the woods, and he finds stuff, and then he kind of nerds out and gives you a bunch of knowledge, which is great. And I think he's also one of the guys that you always see him at like the auctions and whatnot on TV, which is cool, So he's in the community, and I don't know whether he needs it or not, but all I know is it don't hurt, and it don't cost anybody a thing to just, turn on a few of his videos and let him run. Hit a bunch of likes, comment something or other. Doesn't really matter what it is. Just throw a thumbs up in the comment bar, and it's basically like having our own GoFundMe for him, right? Only we don't have to send any money anywhere. We just got to put a bit of time in. Anyway, I think it's pretty cool that the community, the car community, the old car, the classic car, the muscle car, the hot rod community, people do stuff like that. And I think that's pretty cool. And so I thought I got ready for a wedding all last week. I didn't do a lot of work. I didn't post any videos. So today I just did a quick, you just saw the rest of the video if you made it this far. So, update on this, the stuff in the booth, Cadillac. But the reason I came out to the shop to walk around after dinner and do this was, I thought, let's all go to Steve's channel and, give him some support. Doesn't cost a dime. It can't hurt. Anyway, that's it for me today. In the next day or two, I'll start making videos again. I got a bunch of work to get caught up on and show you some freshly painted Ram parts in a couple of days and whatever we do to this guy. And cool. Anyway, have a good night. Cheers.